Civil liberties are the amendments written in the Bill of Rights given to us by the government that protect the people. They cannot be taken away from us at any point without due process, which is when everyone in government abides to the law and is fair. Even though they cannot be taken away from us, they are often still violated. When our basic rights are taken away from us, it's considered a civil liberty violation. A civil violation that has been taken into our own society are unlawful life sentences. Recently, there has been a number of times when people are given cruel punishments that are out of proportion of the crime they've committed. They're either put in jail for a crazy amount of years that the person will never live to complete, or just continue to add on to the years they're in prison without parole until it becomes an unofficial life sentence. This violates the Eighth Amendment because people are experiencing excessive time and cruel punishments for crimes that would normally get parole in a good amount of years in proportion to their crimes.
An example of this case going on in real life is the Bobby Bostic case. Bobby Bostic was given 241 years without parole for a non-homicide crime he committed at the age of 16. He and a friend committed some armed robberies and shot at 2 people, but no one was gravely injured. He was charged with 18 counts and was found guilty on all of them. The Eighth Amendment is supposed to protect him from unusual punishments like this. These kinds of punishments are more reasonable for severe cases like multiple murders, not robberies. The state should not be allowed to basically divide the same crime into many smaller charges just to ensure his life in jail. This decision tries to go around the Graham v. Florida Supreme Court case, which was made to no longer allow a juvenile to be charged for life without parole unless they committed a homicide. They basically gave Bostic a life in jail, unless they actually expected him to live past the age of 257. The Supreme Court case of Graham v. Florida was very important. To understand its impact a little bit more, let's watch a video of a portion of a real court case before the Graham v. Florida case existed. The video walks you through what judges must consider today because of the Graham case when handling cases with juveniles and life sentences.
Your certificates and diplomas that you provided to me in your sentencing, Miranda, I appreciate that, and congratulations to you. But you know what that demonstrates to this court? It demonstrates that the Department of Corrections in your particular incarceration was appropriate and effective. Usually, when I'm sentencing a young man like you, I'll hear it either from you or from family members. Please don't throw this young man's life away by sending him to a prison where he's going to rot. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be a rich man. Now, if I follow your attorney's request to release you today, I might as well just give you the key to the city.
Unfortunately, we couldn't show you the rest of this video. But to sum up the results of this court case, the judge decided that the juvenile did not deserve to be released from this life sentence. He clearly stated that he acknowledged his rehabilitation and his remorse, but he still refused. Now let's retouch what the judges must now consider under this new law. Something they must assess is rehabilitation. They have to ask themselves, has he matured? Does he show any remorse? And has he entered a rehabilitation program where there will be counseling efforts to help him turn around? As mentioned, the only infraction Kenneth had in 11 years was because he didn't fix his bed one morning. A judge must consider if the juvenile acted under the influence of someone else. At 14 years old, Kenneth was forced to rob hotels by his mother's drug dealer. Something else that must be considered is if the juvenile has completed their GED. Unfortunately, there aren't any education programs for kids who do life in jail. Kenneth was still continuing his studies independently.
Created using Powtoon.